I made everyone feel like a star.
Yeah.
Because I believe that. Mm-hmm. I think
you really do.
But I think I did well in Hollywood because I think the people I worked with knew that I wasn't kissing their ass, and I wasn't impressed.
Right.
With that, I would give the same amount of attention to Naomi Watts as I would Tattoo Mom in Kentucky.
Hello, all, and welcome to Marsha, the podcast. I'm your host, Marsha Molinari, and you are here listening to the podcast that brings true and heartfelt human connection. I believe if you don't know about it, you can't care about it, and that's why we're here today. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Marsha. We are on location with Isaac Boots today, celebrity trainer, choreographer, and Broadway dancer. And we are going to get into why everyone is getting torched, including myself. I mean, this morning's workout murdered me.
We did it, baby.
I mean, and I do boot camps every single day. I was thinking about it, and you're harder.
Well, you don't do boots camp.
Boom!
Hey.
I love that.
No, but what's I mean, I think the one of the fabulous things about being able to travel and have these torched events, where all my friends are, whether it's LA, New York, Europe, Hamptons, Miami, is Monaco,
keep it going,
Rome. Right. I mean, the list goes on, but it's really cool is that we get to have that sort of interaction, and keep upping the ante, and I vibe off of you guys. So like this morning, you guys were like screaming and laughing and vibing to all the beats.
It's you. It really is you, and it's the music, all of it together. Honestly, like I could barely I don't remember exactly the workout. I just remember the moment. Like I'm in the music. I'm in a music video.
You're in it. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So it's a flow. It should feel like sexy and it should be too much.
Yeah.
But it's good for your it's not debilitating.
No.
You feel like
a little bit. I know I'm gonna feel it tomorrow morning.
But you leave class feeling vibrant and feeling like you can take on the world.
Oh, I was super excited after I left class, and then I was like,
and your ass is popping afterward. Okay?
But it doesn't help for LA traffic. Because I'm like, my leg was cramping. I was like stretching it out. I was like trying to reach my Theragun in the back, but it all worked out. It's great, and we're here, and I'm so grateful for you. And we actually met first online through a friend, and then who introduced me to you and was like, you need to get torched, and I was like, what's that? And then she's like, you'll fall in love. And 5 seconds in, I'm like, I'm obsessed. I remember
the first time you posted a story of you doing torch, and it was during COVID.
Yeah.
So I was quarantining in the Hamptons, and I saw your post, and I was like, who is this fabulousness? Like, what is going on? And I was just so happy that our worlds collided in a beautiful way, and that is something that, we always hear about the pitfalls of social media, which are absolutely true and real.
Totally.
But there are beautiful aspects to it too. I mean,
connecting with
people, meeting with people, sharing what you do, sharing your passion, and other people sort of vibing on it. And it's kind of dope.
It's like the new age pen pal.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Getting it there. So, obviously Torch comes from your background in dance. I kind of want to let everyone know and myself know, because I know a little bit. You're from Hawaii, correct?
Uh-huh.
And
my little grass shack.
Yeah, your little grass shack. Let's get back to younger Isaac. Where that started, and where did the love of dance come from?
It was I was born in a very different world.
Yeah.
I was born extremely poor. My mom was 16 years old. My dad was 17, 18. I've heard stories about me being sort of passed around the high school auditorium,
just like everyone's gonna raise Isaac today.
Literally, it took a village,
right? A little village.
And it was kind of a Dickensian childhood.
Yeah,
it was, but I don't look back on it with regret or bitterness, because it prepared me.
And it's all you knew.
Did. It's all I knew. And it also really prepared me for the sharks of Hollywood and New York.
In life.
I mean, life, honey. I can handle anything.
Yeah.
I literally can. I can say that with conviction.
Yeah.
And
Like, I just
my
got
mother
the
was
chills when you said it.
my mother was really tough.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not sure you can actually raise children the way she raised me.
Right.
Today.
I don't know if it's same.
But, you know what I mean?
It wouldn't be legal.
Good luck.
Right.
But my grandmother I was so lucky as well, because she was a real sort of, you know, she was a 400 pounds Hawaiian mama
Word.
that everybody loved, Auntie Myrna. Everybody called her Auntie. And she was my source of unconditional love, truly. She knew I was gay she said from the moment I could walk, because I would pull my Pampers up and sing Borderline and you know, walk on my tippy toes.
Yes.
My mother was horrified.
Yeah.
And my grandma was like, what?
You were always on your tippy toes.
Oh, full out.
Yeah.
And I had like really curly hair, and it was long, and like long lashes, and my father hated it. But you know, look at me now, baby.
Look at you now.
No, but truly I do say that my mother taught me drive, and my grandmother taught me love.
Yeah.
And I think that combination was necessary for me to believe in myself and to take the leap. And, you know, I always say that, you know, I couldn't afford dance classes. I couldn't, most professional dancers start dancing when they're 3.
Yeah.
And, you know, they go to SAB and, you know, that was not a thing. And so my first dance teacher, and I was able to tell her this once, but my first dance teacher really was Madonna. Wow. Truly, you know, I was born in 1980.
Right.
So, you know, Madonna was MTV. Madonna was omnipresent.
Right.
You know, I mean, she still is on Instagram, but we won't go there.
Right. Live.
But you know, she sort of became this like fantasy for me, and an idea of sort of like the Wizard of Oz. You know, like I saw Desperately Seeking Susan, and she's in New York City, and she's so dope, and she's smoking cigarettes and doing hitch kicks, and I was like, that needs to be my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what New York meant. I didn't know, you know, but I watched every single music video, Open Your Heart, Express Yourself, like a prayer, and memorized all the dances, and Blonde Ambition and Truth or Dare, and I literally trained myself to dance. And she was a real dancer. Like she was a jazz, ballet, and modern trained.
Right.
And so I sort of just like emulated her to my father's amazement. I'll use that word.
Right.
You know, he was a boxer, and my grandfather was a boxer. I'm the third Isaac. Like, so me doing paddle turns to Cherish on the beach was not the like.
Did they try to get you to do like other sports?
Yes.
I was pushed into like baseball,
God.
football.
Oh my God.
Wrestling.
Listen, I used to have panic attacks, and really because I was afraid of I was afraid of balls hitting my face.
But really?
Now I'm not.
Yeah.
But I definitely was then. There's actually a photo of me in Little League for baseball, and I'm like, you know, you're supposed to like pose and then pose with the group, and I'm literally doing Open Your Heart, like have the glove, like shoulder, like knee moment, and it only lasted one season. But finally, when high school came, there was an after-school dance program, and it was my lifesaver, you know? And I sort of, that's where I really started like training, and it was a proper jazz dance teacher. Wow. And it was my saving grace. Yeah. It really was, you know?
It came for you at the right moment.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure you understand the, you know, how hard it is as a teenager of any generation to grow up and be different. I know it sounds so cliche, but actually
that's what it is.
It is what it is.
You know, like there's like groups of kids, and I was always like, I don't belong to any one group. I don't know. And, you know, also growing up, you know, super poor, like I didn't always have shoes.
Right.
Like, or like the bottoms will be breaking off.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn, I gotta go to school like this. And you just kind of drag your foot along. You're, all the things that added on to just the general pressures of mean kids. Kids are mean,
I mean, yeah. I mean, my first thought of high school is like, which is ridiculous, but is like being pushed into walls.
Oh, no.
But like, that's like weird.
And it's like terrible.
And I know that it's worse for a lot of kids, and I just think that's a really, really horrible thing.
I think I got really blessed when we moved my freshman year, and just so happened to move across the street from the like varsity football player jock, and he had a brand new car, like this like pearl colored, like I don't even know.
They always do. Why do the quarterbacks always have amazing?
Like the best. I was
bastards.
like, so his mom was like, "You're taking little Marsh to school, and you have to." And he was so kind and walked me up to like senior court, and I was a freshman, and I hung out with him, and he just was like, "You can chill here.
I love that.
If anyone messes with you, let me know."
You lucked out.
Lucked out.
Damn.
Like angel. You know what I mean?
Did you make out with him?
I mean, just
Don't
in
lie.
my dreams, like, and it was before I knew I was gay, but something was going on, because I'd be like,
I knew when I was like 4. I literally knew when I was 4. I didn't know what sex was. That I mean, aside from like,
I mean, I could say the same.
Madonna videos.
I was sneaking like lipsticks and dresses underneath the sink, but that was like, I didn't know what that was.
Right.
I was just knew that that's who I was.
You liked glam.
Yeah, I liked to glam,
We
and
love
I
the
knew
glam
that it
moment.
had to be a secret. Like, it was super dangerous, but, like, we kind of do those things, and I think, kind of growing up without a lot, I think adds to the imagination. Just like you having, like, finding Madonna on TV, and you're like, you had the time to learn all of those moves. That was your class.
Absolutely.
That was your school.
Absolutely.
That was your dance school.
And also listening to her interviews on MTV News then. Being a gay kid and from a very Catholic, religious, conservative family. Hearing her sort of articulate her issues with the Catholic Church and showing, speaking up against homophobia, which no one did then.
No, not at all.
She was the only one. I mean, her and Elizabeth Taylor, but I didn't have access to what. Looking back, I know about that, but then I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it really did help me. It helped me sort of just listen to someone who I idolized speak for me.
Yeah. And this is important because I think now, recently when she was like, if I hit this trash can, that means I'm gay or something like that. And everyone's like, she's using gay people. I'm all using.
Please.
Girl, she's been on the team.
Please,
she's been
honey.
a supporter. She's part of the community.
First of all, she has a great sense of humor.
Right.
So
I get the joke.
It's like
come on.
it's a vibe, and I mean,
everyone takes things so seriously. And
oh my God,
they don't bother to look.
I used to think the fun thing about being gay was that like we had a sense of humor.
Right. Exactly.
Jesus, what happened to
Where
humor?
is
Can
it?
someone laugh?
That's all I'm
You know
saying.
what I mean? Like
Totally.
I can't.
Like,
I can't.
honestly.
She's a forever ally, and anyone who does any research will
A little bit.
understand that.
Watch one music
girl,
video.
please.
I can't. So you're in this dance class. Where does it go from here? Where are you in it every day? Is it your after school program? Is it free?
It's free. It's
Yes.
it's after school and
In Hawaii.
every day.
Where in Hawaii?
In Hawaii, on Oahu. I went to a high school, which is actually the only school in America that you have to have a certain amount of Hawaiian blood to even be considered to go there. It was part of the contract between the U.S. government.
Come on, contract.
And when they, raped and pillaged and stole our imprisoned our queen, and that's another interview.
Right.
But part of the concession was that the Princess Beatrice really felt strongly that the Hawaiian children should be educated, first rate educated. And it's a beautiful school. It's called Kamehameha, named after our first king. And it's beautiful.
Wait, say it again.
Kamehameha.
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 Meha.
Yeah.
Kamehameha.
And there were statues of him everywhere. He was very hot. He was like 6 feet tall.
Okay.
He was ripped.
Yeah.
He was in a malo. Okay.
Right.
Just like Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
And it really was, it was tough. It was a tough school. But, the public school system in Hawaii
in a way is like, also
very strict.
Very strict. But what
Very
about
strict.
kids, like Hawaiian kids in general? Is that like you have to be tough? Because you kind of see these like movies where you like, if you mess on the wrong side of like, you're surfing on the wrong side.
Oh yeah, they take that very seriously.
Very seriously.
Yeah, it's.
But you're in the community, so the little protection.
I lucked out because my father was the bully of his generation.
Right. Okay. So you're like the setup.
I lucked out.
Right.
I lucked out.
Everyone's gonna mess with
like
you.
that.
Yeah.
But at school, like in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But at school, it was a different thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like all these.
There's no rules.
All these Hawaiian kids from all the other islands as well.
Yeah.
But they had an amazing theater program as well. The gorgeous theater, and it was my mecca.
Yeah.
And I would get into trouble because I would always choreograph dances to Madonna's latest single of the moment. So it was like Human Nature and like Erotica, and it was a Protestant like prep school, and I'm like doing Justify My Love, and
Oh wow.
I was pushing boundaries.
Right.
But my dream and my sole thought in high school, and I think this has been a common thread throughout my entire life, was I was always thinking of the next thing, always thinking of, okay, what's happening in 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a freshman now. After senior year, I can't be here.
Right.
This is not what's happening.
I always felt the same way. I was like, this is not gonna last.
It's not.
Like, this is not where I end up.
It's not our story.
No, it's not our story.
It's a lovely
I felt
chapter.
that. Yeah.
It's a great chapter.
I was like, cannot wait to get out of here. When things are really bad, I'm like, I knew I was getting out. I didn't. I had to wait to be old enough, at least older than 7.
Yes,
but
right.
I always knew then. Like, I had a feeling this isn't it. Like, I cannot wait to be out of here with these people.
I mean, absolutely. And we plot, right?
Yeah.
We figure out how to.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been one to sort of just wallow in sorrow. I don't like it.
No, get up and go.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's not. And I don't tolerate it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly don't tolerate it for the people I love.
Mm-hmm.
And the morning after high school graduation, I started saving money from like 7th grade because I knew this.
Mm-hmm.
The morning after high school graduation, I bought a one-way ticket to New York City.
Stop.
And I had nowhere to live.
Chills.
Nowhere to live. I probably had like $40. And I knew one person in the city. His name was Matthew Tinker. And we were friends junior and senior year. He was a year older.
And he moved to New York.
He moved to New York. He was at NYU.
Okay.
And by the time I got there, he was a sophomore, and he let me live illegally on his New York NYU dormitory floor.
Right.
And
illegally is right.
And you couldn't do that now, I don't think. Because
Right.
like everything's all like electronic now.
Right.
This was like
Check in.
I mean, yeah. But it was so much. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
We had a blast. And he had a year in New York to learn it, and so we were going to the Roxy and Limelight, and I was 17.
Limelight,
but no one carded. You just had to look cute,
right?
And I was very cute.
Yeah.
And
your fashion changed like right when you got to New York, or was it always like cutting edge?
Okay, so my mom had this thing. Like she was very like physical, and really was just not having me. In any sense of the word, be a F word.
Mm-hmm.
And I had she would freak out if I tweezed my eyebrows. It was like a thing.
Right.
And so on the airplane to New York.
You're tweezy. Immediately. I cannot show up.
I was like, I'm going to be Marlena Dietrich.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, fuck. I have the craziest eyebrows. Looking at photos, I'm like, Jesus. Like, I was like, maybe my mom was right. Because this is not
took it all
off. But it was fun.
It was the moment.
It was freedom.
Yeah.
It was 98. It was all about that moment. And, I I do feel like I am self-aware, and I knew I wasn't the best dancer in the world. And part of that was because I wasn't trained from when I was 3 in the studio. And so I went to Steps on the Upper West Side and said, look, I can't afford classes, but like I need to train. So like, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah. How are we going to get me in?
And I started scrubbing the floors there, and I got 10 free classes a week.
Wow.
And it was the best ever. So I lived at the studio and took from the best. I mean, the real, Steps is like, it's proper.
Right.
It's like if they have the top of the top, ballet, jazz, modern, tap. And I curated, I was very specific. I was like, look, I want to be on Broadway. And
so you're going to take these classes.
So it was jazz ballet, jazz ballet. And I auditioned every day. I was not part of the union. You have to be Actors Equity. Mm-hmm. You need a headshot and resume. Headshots and resumes cost like $800 at least. That wasn't happening.
It's so crazy because you have to be part of the union to get the job. You can't get the job unless you're part of the union. It's like an endless cycle, and you're like,
it's insane. So I snuck into every audition. I stole cards. Literally, I would run in.
Oh yeah.
And like push my way, like show girls and be in the front because I knew that I would at least like either make them laugh or like have them curious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like throw in a turn, like have a moment. And I usually always got a call back.
And you really didn't have anything to lose, I guess, because
I didn't have anything to lose.
Like, you're in, so you're already winning.
And they don't have my headshot, so they don't even know my name.
Right. I remember one time I was sitting with my roommate, who is an actress, and she was there for a TV show, maybe Nickelodeon or something. And they walked up to me, because there was like multiple things going on. They're like, are you here for the Mazda commercial? And I go, mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And I walked in, and they're like, okay, take a look at the board. And the board was like an Olympic speed skater in a singlet. And there were guys in the waiting room with like tracksuits on, and they were zipping down to like their singlets because they were professional ice skaters. And the board just showed these guys like behind the car, and they go, "Are you ready?" I go, mm-hmm. And I rolled up my sleeves like this, and I was like, "Yep." Turn it, and I turned this way to the camera, and I looked, and they were all hysterically laughing, and they were like, "Thank you so much for that. You just made our day." And I was like, "Thank you." Grabbed my bag and like walked out, and I was like, obviously, it was not an Olympic speed skater,
but you did it.
But I did it. I was all, I'm ready. They're like, "You ready?" Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm ready. Roll up my sleeves. I'm gonna get it in. Made them laugh. Whatever.
And what you don't realize is that like the people who are in the audition room want so desperately to be entertained. They want something else. You know what I mean?
And they're getting the like what they think every person that goes into that audition thinks they want one thing. So they're also pulling out that one type of person.
Yeah.
So to see me, I'm sure they were like, "Oh, this is different."
Exactly.
Different.
I love it.
And I would do that all the time. Like I would also crash auditions because whatever.
Why not?
And I would walk up to producers. I'm like, "Can I be SAG?" And they're like, "Go sit back and holding."
Full out.
And I'm like, "Well, another producer then."
Just knocking on casting directors' doors and being like, "Hi, I'm Isaac. I'm a dancer. I'm amazing, and I need to be on Broadway. So like, let's pick a show." And I would just be a nuisance. I would be a nuisance, and they would finally be like, "Oh, all right, coming on Friday to this." Yeah. And it finally worked.
What was your first job? I mean? Do you remember? Paid job.
Yeah, I got the European tour of Greece.
Wow, I love Greece so much.
And it was magical. And I got to see
the world.
I was in Germany and all over Germany, Austria, France. And actually, my friend Victoria, who was in class today, in the front.
Okay.
We met on that damn tour.
No way.
And she became one of my. This is 22 years ago now.
Wow.
And I made some amazing friends. And with every job I got, I kept on trying to just like perfect my craft more and work on my flexibility more and work on my turns more and work on my point more and think about the next job. And I ended up getting, Mamma Mia on Broadway, and I was there for 7 years. I was at the Winter Garden for 7 years. Wow. And really learned, it was a really formative time because I learned the importance of discipline. You know, it's 8 shows a week and it's a hit. People, it's
8 shows a week?
8 shows a week, and we're sold out every show. Mamma Mia was a huge hit.
Wow.
And so if you're tired,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Pull up.
Injured? Probably doesn't matter.
Bye. No,
Yeah.
let's go. And also how to be a real professional. It's a real it's a real family unit, you know. So like learning how to respect the dressers and the lighting and the stage managers and the ushers, and how to interact with the dancers. And you know, I messed up all the time, but I think being there for a long time, you know, you just create these bonds. And then I did West Side Story at the Palace, which was a really extraordinary experience because Arthur Lawrence, who wrote it in 1956, 57, directed it. And so, you know, we're learning the original Jerome Robbins choreography from the estate.
Wow.
And Arthur Lawrence is directing us, and he became my like grandfather, mentor.
Wow.
And you know, Stephen Sondheim and Chita Rivera, you know, showing up and giving us advice and notes. Chita was like, don't eat too much, don't drink too much, and stop smoking.
You're like...
I was like, Chita, you smoked. But she was amazing.
Right.
And so fabulous. But that's actually where I created Torched.
On that
created
tour?
Torched when I was in West Side Story on Broadway, because it was the hardest show I've ever done.
Right.
You know?
You have to keep up and all the things.
And it sort of felt like the gold star of my Broadway career, because
I'm sure.
You know,
this is massive.
It's
like,
the real deal.
yeah.
It's real dance. And so
Yeah.
to be picked for that, I was like, you know, the work has paid off. And I felt really proud of that. And I had to work my ass off even more.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the show with these kids
that have been there since
doing it.
birth.
Doing it.
Yeah.
And it was great. And so I didn't have time to run in the park like I loved, and go to Pilates and go to the gym like I loved. Also because I couldn't get hurt, and I was
Right.
afraid to, because, you know, I ran, it hurt my knees, or I would lift heavy weights and I would like not be able to lift the girls.
Right.
And you have to be like on.
Wow, you really do have to think about all of those little things.
Yes.
Yes.
So I created this workout that I could do in my dressing room and stay snatched, stay lean, stay strong, but be able to do my show.
And this is what we're doing today.
Literally what we're doing.
Wow.
Today. I didn't call it Torch because there was no agenda to make it
Right.
a thing.
It was your thing.
It was for me.
Right.
And slowly but surely, the rest of the cast started joining in, because I would actually do it on the stage, like an hour before the show, and I would have my, you know, boombox with Madonna playing. And slowly but surely, you know, Bernardo and Maria and the Jets and the Sharks would join in, and I'm screaming and you know, barking orders, and everyone's laughing, and I think I caught the bug then.
Right.
I know I caught the bug.
Right.
And then I started choreographing, you know, the Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS benefits, which I don't know if you know, but all the Broadway shows a few times throughout the year get together and sort of like create dances or create skits, or, you know, Bernadette Peters sings, and we raise money for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS.
Right.
And I was sort of forced into choreographing this piece for West Side Story, and that led to Brooke Shields asking me to choreograph a number for her at the Box, when the Box first opened.
And that was like what, I don't know, back then where there were celebrities doing different things.
It was new. It had just opened. And so it was more about that. It was more sort of like throwback, kind of interesting vaudevillian shows.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't think I was a choreographer. I just
did what you did.
Loved theater, and I loved dance, and I certainly watched every you know, Madonna video since I was 4.
Right.
So I just jumped in, and she loved it, and then she asked me to do her one-woman show And when that opened, I got a rave in the New York Times, and all of a sudden I was a choreographer.
Boom.
And then that led me to Hugh Jackman and working with him at Jazz at Lincoln Center, which led me to Ariana Grande. And worked with her for 5 years and did every music video, every performance, and choreographed all of that. But also, there's a point to this.
Bring it back around.
I would start rehearsal with Torched as a warm-up.
Right.
Because I knew that made me perform better, because my body was ready.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, everybody started firing their trainers. And all of a sudden, I'm
You're
training
doing it all.
Kelly Rippa at 8, and Faye Dunnaway at 9:30, and Gwyneth Paltrow and Ari and just heavy hitters. And I was like, well, this is what I'm doing,
Right.
and
still doing all the other things.
yeah, and I think really feeling like it was still part of my DNA, it was still part of my Broadway life.
It all made
because I
sense.
created it at the Palace Theater. For me as a dancer, it just felt so correct. And so when I realized that this is really where my livelihood is coming from now, without me pursuing it, really. They're calling me.
Right.
Emailing me. And
They know a good thing.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my certification in personal training, Pilates, yoga. I wanted to learn, just so, because I know how to work my body, right, as a dancer. That's my machine. But I also sort of wanted to learn all of the other elements of it, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, because you learn
It
the
informs
human
you
body.
more. It
Yeah.
informs you more, and you can never rest on your laurels. And so I love being curious, and I love saying yes and saying no, but saying yes.
Yeah.
To opportunities that scare me.
Yeah.
That's
been such a thing for me. Not that I don't think like I said, I used to just jump at things, but when I was in the pandemic and I had a lot of lows moments because, when everything gets taken away, you have a moment.
Yeah,
and then,
of course.
like we just talked about, I don't sit around. I kind of go, well, what makes you happy? What made you happy when you were a kid? Acting, martial arts, all the things. Let's do that. Let's get back into that. Let's settle in. And I told myself that if something scared me, that I would jump at it, and that's why we're here today, kind of like someone was like, let's do this. I was like, let's go.
well, and you're doing so amazingly.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love it all.
Yeah.
I think it's really inspiring.
Well, I think, thank you. And you are as well. But I think what happens is that, there is a life plan if we're ready to listen and show up for it. And I think showing up is the most important thing.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah, there it is.
Me, I am Mariah.
See, if you can picture it, you can do it.
Yes.
So.
But again, it's like, as you said, I think it's about showing up. It's about creating something, doing something every day.
Yeah.
And that's really the philosophy of Torch too, is, I oftentimes hear people saying, oh my God, I watch your videos, but I'm afraid, and I'm scared to come because everyone's doing it, and I'm just not there physically. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just do a little bit. Do 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And then just watch and laugh, and then tomorrow put it on again.
Yeah.
Do 5 minutes again. And then it'll turn into 7, into 10.
And you're doing the whole thing.
Right.
You're doing 2 classes.
And then your body responds, your mind responds.
Yes.
It's really just a perk that your ass looks so good.
Great perk.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, say more ways than one.
Something. So now you have a lot of success. You're doing all the things. Is this then pandemic hits?
Yes.
Well, so wait. What were your plans?
Oof.
Where were you heading before the pandemic hit?
Before the pandemic, it was I was working with all the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And I was really known in rarefied circles.
Yeah.
So it was like I'd be training, Gwyneth in the Hamptons in the summer, and New York, I'd have Faye and Kelly and then I'd be in LA for, Oscar week, Golden Globe week. I'd be flown out to Art Basel. I'd be flown out by clients to Paris Fashion Week. But it was insular, and I did the first in Goop Health with Gwyneth in Austin, and things were rolling like that. And
You're sort of like the Forrest Gump of dance, like you're touched, and people are touched by you and inspired by you.
For the very first time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I literally, it was March 13th, and New York had closed, I think, that day, actually, or the night prior. And I was in East Hampton with my dear friend, Stephanie DiTullio. And I was just like, I don't just want to sit around. Now, I had already been training my clients on FaceTime or Zoom for years.
Right.
Because a lot of them are traveling, or, they're on a film set in Bulgaria,
right.
But they have to stay snatched. So I already had that rhythm going. But at 11 a.m. I was free, and so I went on Instagram to just do it once.
Have you done live before?
No, first time.
It's so bizarre when you do it like the first time. You're like, what is this? Are you watching me?
First time ever, and it's still on my feed somewhere way back. It's so not what it is now. It was just, I think I'm like undressing or something. I was like, oh shit, But I did it, and there were like 90 people on it, and at the end of it, someone said, "Thank you from Guatemala," and I was like, holy shit! I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll do it again tomorrow. I don't have anything else. And so I did it again. And then there were like 200 people on it. And every day a little more. And my clients. And so like Jessica Chastain was on.
And chiming in. And
Kelly Rippa and Lisa Rinna.
Who was there today.
And yes.
Live for her.
She's everything.
And she was killing it.
Honey.
Word,
she
snatched.
Is everything.
Wow.
Everything. We were getting torched in the French Riviera a few weeks ago.
Where else would you do it?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And Vanessa Hudgens. And so people who aren't in the industry were like gagging a little bit, I guess, because, and I didn't, there might.
And you want to be in those rooms, like say you are from Guatemala, and then, Kelly Rippa or any one of these people come in, you want to be in those rooms. You're going to show up the next day.
Exactly.
It's like, and especially during that time.
When
you were so alone. This is like, gives you something, Because I remember we would create these chats. Like, it was like Kylie would show up, Bella, and Zach Bia, and we would start writing like pretending we were in the club, and it was just like, because we were so like, we had to use our imaginations, and Kylie would be like, "Can I have tequila, please?" And I'm like, "I need a bucket of ice." We're just sitting at home, like in our beds, like.
You're like, valid, I do need a bucket of ice.
But it made you took you out of your like circumstance.
You become crafty.
Yeah. And so I'm sure this was
because
exciting.
We want connection. We want to laugh. We want to be seen.
Yeah.
We want to see others. And again, to go into we want to be seen is, yes, I have all these, megastars in their own right on my Torch Live, but I made everyone feel like a star.
Yeah.
Because I believe that. Mm-hmm. I think
you really do.
But I think I did well in Hollywood because I think the people I worked with knew that I wasn't kissing their ass, and I wasn't impressed.
Right.
It's
either you're a good person and
you're either dope, we vibe, or we don't.
Yeah.
And so I would give the same amount of attention to Naomi Watts as I would Tattoo Mom in Kentucky.
As you did me.
Well, but I want to meet everybody. I want to learn about everybody, and after a week we had over like 1,500 people on it, And people started asking me, okay, Isaac, how do we Venmo you? Like, you know.
Right.
And I felt uncomfortable with that for a variety of reasons. Mainly because, the uncertainty of it all. But you know, we were learning that schools were closing.
Right.
And I know that, you know, from being a kid of a different life, if this had happened in 1984, I don't know what my family would have done.
I mean, I ate at school. That's the only place I would
Literally.
get food. Like, or didn't eat.
Literally.
Like, if you miss school that day, I would never be sick because I was hungry. Like, I went to school all the time.
Like, I'm literally hungry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to school.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and so and it's a major problem still.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to No Kid Hungry, which has been a charity that I've always had an affinity for, that I felt strongly about. I felt like one of those kids. I still connect to him.
Yeah.
You know, to Lil Isaac.
Check in.
Yes. And I said, look, I want to create a direct link where I'm not involved. I want a link where I know it's going directly, not only to you, but immediately to kids who need it in areas that need it most. And my first goal really was $1,000.
$1,000?
Was $1,000. Look, $1,000 is better than zero.
Right.
And, you know, I figured, you know, we have like over 1,000 people on. And
what time is this in the? So you start in March.
This was a week in.
Oh, you were like immediately.
It was quick.
Oh, because people were like, "Let me
I
offer
want
you
to
something."
Venmo you, and I was like, that's what we're at. That just felt. It felt like no, that's not my style.
It wasn't for you.
Yeah, in the first 24 hours, we raised over $10,000.
Wow. Were you like happy? Like
I was gagging.
Yeah.
Within the first month, we had over 100,000.
Wow. And you're doing this every day?
Every day. No days off. Every day.
Wow.
And now, after a month, we have people on from Australia to Tokyo, all over Europe, Mexico, Brazil, all over Canada, and all over the continental U.S., and South Africa. Crazy.
You're reaching people.
These people showing up every day. These people having inside jokes. You know, a grandmother in the south of France having an inside joke with a grandmother in Tokyo who has the same inside joke with, you know, Wendy Bird Squirrel in Texas.
Her.
It was really special.
Yeah.
It was really strange.
Yeah.
And also people, you know, in New York society that were connecting with friends that they haven't spoken to in years, with just like family and life and things, like people they went to college with. They're like, oh my God,
here?
you're on Isaac Boots. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so it felt like this very special thing, and we ended up raising over $1 million by my birthday, which is October.
Wow.
And because people were like, well, I was like, do not get me gifts, please. Just ask your friends, ask your lovers, ask your exes, and let's do this.
$1 million is beyond.
Yeah, and
wow.
I became the largest single donor, and I feel that wasn't me. It was all of us. Yeah. It was everybody. We had anonymous huge anonymous donations.
Wow.
From someone in France, actually, that was like $200,000, like major. And,
But it starts with you, though. It did. It started with the community that you built.
Very special.
And this kind of led into like you seeing an opportunity by someone making a gesture of like, how can I pay you? And and this all came together almost magically.
Absolutely.
And then for it to raise so much beyond your expectations, $1,000 to $1 million is like
to $1 million, and then it matters.
Yeah.
And I really feel strongly about this. You can work out anywhere.
Yeah.
And I got news for you. They all work.
Right.
Because when you move your body,
right,
and you eat a certain way, you change your body.
Yeah.
Like you can actually do anything.
Yes.
It works.
Yeah.
But I want to do something beyond that. And
with a purpose.
With a purpose. And what is there's nothing more innocent than a child.
Yeah.
And an animal. You know, I have my babies.
Yeah.
My 2 babies now.
Yeah.
My little poodles.
I get that.
But you know, that's the most important thing to me. So if we can every day do something, even donate $1 or whatever, and work on our bodies every day.
Too.
I mean, you wash your ass every day, I hope, right?
Okay.
So like you better torch it too.
Right.
You know? And so we keep, you know, sort of upping the ante. And
I mean, now I think you're at 2 million, right?
Yeah, and well, now we're also I'm also raising money for World Childhood Foundation, which was founded by the Queen Sylvia of Sweden, to combat child sex trafficking.
So scary.
Because I felt strongly about that, because I felt like, you know, during the pandemic we fed kids, and now that the world is opened, we have to protect them.
Yeah.
Child sex trafficking has tripled.
Yes,
in the past year.
I heard some crazy numbers about it happening here in LA.
LA, Palm Beach.
And now my nieces
Miami.
told me they've been targeted.
Cuckoo.
Like,
that's not a thing.
Followed into Target. Like, come on.
No. And
what's going on?
And you know, I just think that the more that we talk about it, I know it's uncomfortable.
But we need awareness.
You have to talk about
Let's talk about
it. You
it.
have to raise money for it. You have to research tactics, you know, to avoid it. And you know, I love when I see videos on Instagram, you know, showing it and showing how to avoid it, and you know, all that. So
reposting and sharing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now you're with No Kid Hungry.
Yeah.
And you're touring. And your tour.
I'm on the Torch tour, baby.
Torch tour.
What's really weird about that too is it's sort of like you're talking about magic.
Yeah.
Right? There was no strategy for this, baby.
Yeah.
There was no strategy for this.
Yeah, how do you...
I mean, it
like,
just sort
the
of...
cities that you went to?
They reach out to me. Like, I mean, you know...
Monaco,
you know, I mean, where we are now, the Mayborn Beverly Hills.
Word.
You know, the Mayborn group has Claridge's.
They see it.
And the Riviera. And, you know, I lucked out with having people doing Torch who are... movers and shakers, you know.
Like, I see something, though.
Yeah,
something very special.
Exactly. And, you know, I don't have a publicist, and I don't have a huge team behind me, and it's really like...
That's shocking.
Organic.
Because this is a big deal.
It's organic. It's I was on the cover of the New York Times style section. I got that through a DM.
And Forbes magazine.
Through a DM. I got Forbes I was in Palm Beach by the pool after Torched and having an Aperol Spritz, and Jane Hansen, who writes for Forbes, happened to be at Torch and was like, I need to know everything. I didn't even know that there was a Forbes article coming out. I was literally just talking to her.
Oh, wow.
And we were vibing and laughing, and 2 weeks later I get I'm getting sent. I'm like, you're in Forbes, like this is like a huge thing. And I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like,
but like that's the magic of you, though. Like, you know, you
I love meeting people. I do love connecting and learning, and
I think that's why people want
and inviting people to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I mean the vibe this morning, like also like some of these people I haven't seen in years. Some of these people I've never met. You know, I had some like mothers and daughters who were like, you know, saying, "Oh my God, you saved us during COVID." You know, my mom was in Fort Lauderdale, and I was here, and we couldn't see each other, and we were so nervous. But
together.
Every day we knew that we were gonna get torched.
Right.
So it's very sweet.
I mean, mental health wise, I mean, I'm sure you've got a lot of people writing you saying how important it was, because it was important to do something every day. It was important to like be able to see and share and be in these groups and talk to people and have a sense of connection, because, you know, because it did get super lonely. But I would show up to like DJ groups on Instagram, and my friends were like, I'm going to this DJ, and I'm like, I'll be there just to talk and chat inside the groups.
I love it.
You know, it was so important and something that was needed.
Yeah.
And so are you still doing online?
I am.
Really?
I am. Well, you know, now
you find
it's
the time.
I do it. I carve it out. as much as I can.
Right.
You know, and so I try to do it at least 5 times a week. You know, I'm traveling a lot. I mean, you know, we're all over, from Rome to Monte Carlo to Paris to London to Hamptons. You know, I was just there, and going to Toronto. It's a whole thing. So thankfully, my husband, who I met during COVID, actually. Taurus. My Taurus to my Scorpio. Thankfully, he's hyper organized and diligent, and he maps out my day every day, so I get my schedule.
So it's like, what am I doing today?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, kind of thing. But it is very much like a tour.
It's a full out tour, and you know, I have a subscription service on Instagram, which is going amazingly, and I do my live stream publicly for everyone on Instagram, but I save it for my subscribers.
Okay.
And I learned that in Europe, actually, that a lot of them, most of my European followers don't do the live stream. They do it the next morning.
Right, of course.
From my feed, you know, because it's 5 p.m. there, or even 6. And but they do it, and they love it. And it's very special, you know, and to be able to travel the world and to have these moments to interact and lift their leg and thank them, and you know,
I was terrified you're gonna lift my leg today.
I will on Sunday.
No.
I'm saving it for the Lord's Day.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so where are we next? Like, what's the future of Torch? And one, like, the products that you've put out, like the ankles, like the ankle weights, like, I mean, does this all follow along with what you were doing?
Yeah, you know, like, I mean, you know, I only want to put things out that I think that I believe in, that I think are special, that I think are beautiful. You know, we just launched our new Torch apparel, and it's limited edition, and it's really chic. I got
the flame one.
Baby, it's chic. It's chic. It's chic. It's high quality.
Yeah.
You know, it matters. And you know, like the weights as well, like they exist on your larger muscle group, so as not to put strain on your joints. They're not sandbags. And look, we make anything work when we have to. Right. But if we want to elevate it and think of the longevity of our bodies, right? You have to think about these things.
Bit. You got to invest as well.
I think of myself as, again, I still think of myself as that dancer that moved to New York, right? And so you have to think like I don't want to have hip issues. I don't want to, you know, sort of be debilitated in any way.
You got to start now.
Exactly. And so we're doing that, and
are you doing more cities?
I'm heading back to New York on Sunday, and we have a huge event Monday night with De Beers, and then I head to Toronto, and I'm so excited for this. I've actually never done a Torch event in Toronto, and I have a lot of.
Toronto's great.
I have a base there.
Yeah.
I have dem babies there.
Yeah.
And we are raising money for Sick Kids Hospital.
Okay.
And we've already raised a lot of money for it. And we haven't even done like the damn event. So I'm really excited about that. And then we're in London. I'm doing Art Basel, and then we're doing London and Claridge's, back to Monte Carlo for New Year's, Paris Fashion Week. I'm going to do like a weekend in Stade, like a private Torch moment.
Wow.
And then Palm Beach for February and March.
And are you still doing private clients?
Yeah.
How?
I know.
Isaac.
I started this morning. My first client this morning was at 5:30 a.m. So it depends on where I am. Like if I'm in Paris, I don't start my private clients until 3 p.m. and then I work till 11.
Right.
And then I go out and have a moment. I always schedule a splash, some festivities, see a friend, have a moment, but I work.
Yeah.
I don't abandon my clients. So if I want to go to LA, I know, well, you better wake up, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, then I won't complain about waking up early to come see you today.
Exactly.
You know?
It's worth it.
It was worth it.
Life is short,
honestly.
and you know, we have to find our times for rest and for self-care. But you know, and I try to do a little bit of that every day, you know, like we were talking about, you know,
taking moments
and icing your face,
rolling,
and throwing a bath in, and Yeah, it's important to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of yourself first. And I know that being in the business I do, where it's constant, there's an event every single day that we're producing. There's, we have new restaurants coming in. But one thing that I made sure coming into it fresh out of the pandemic is that I was going to put in my fitness, my body, my health first.
It's the most important. It's the most important.
What am I showing up as? Like if I'm there, like, like
you want to feel vibrant. You want to feel able.
And it's changed my life putting myself first, and it changed everything else around me for the better. I show up for people. I'm present with people. Yeah. And it just makes all the difference. And
you're present for yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's first.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Work.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time and saying yes to this interview.
God, I was so honored.
And
I was so
sitting
happy.
with me today. Is there...
Well, that's funny because actually I invited you to... I invite all of my friends and people I love anywhere I am. Like, I'm in South Africa. Can you come?
Yeah.
They're like, literally no. But that sounds amazing. But I did 2 tourist events for... I collaborated with the New York Historical Society for the first ever LGBTQ plus museum, which is so major and so dope. And so I invited you to that, and you're like, I'm in LA, but... let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
So it's that's how it happened.
It's here, and guess what? LGBTQI plus, we're here.
Hey.
Get
used to it.
Get used to it. Exactly. Where can we find you?
Today?
No. Social media wise.
Oh, sorry.
Today I was available.
Yeah. I'll tell you later.
Room number.
IsaacBoots.com and on Instagram at IsaacBoots. I'm there every day, baby. 11 a.m. East.
Trust, follow, and subscribe.
All you need is your body and the floor.
Right.
Okay.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
Show up.
Exactly.
Let's show up for each other.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to listen. I love you.
Love you.
This podcast is brought to you by Vocal Podcast Network. Executive producers are Michaela Simon and Marsha Molinari. Produced by Yonta Taiwo, Morgan McDonald, and Arianna Giles. Shooting and editing by Morgan McDonald. Music by Aaron Rees. Artwork by Dominic Demetz and hosted by Marsha Molinari. Remember to follow at Marsha Molinari and at Vocal Podcasts everywhere. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast.